What's up, people? It's your boy Openite here, and today I'm starting a new series called I Choose You Gengar. Now, I'm pretty sure I mentioned this in probably a couple videos back or something like that, but Gengar is my favorite Pokemon of all time, and I swear to God, I've been trying to build a proper Gengar team for years and nothing. I just can't come up with a happy Gengar set or a team that I'm, particularly interested in using until this crazy ass build, if I may suck myself off like that. But here we have Gengar with a choice specs and a curse body. Now specs obviously lets us maximize our damage, but if you take a look at what's in the tier, given Gengar's typing and its its lackluster defense, SPDEF, HP, all its defensive stats basically, it's just not good at taking hits, right? Like, you can't switch this in on anything in the tier. Most things will do a lot of damage to it, and at the same time it's not OHKOing a whole lot of Pokemon back. Can do a lot of damage with Shadow Ball, but not straight up OHKO. It's no Kyurem, right? So it's something that we always have to keep in mind whenever we build Gengar teams. And with respect to that, I thought Specs Gengar is amazing because sure, Gengar can KO, but 130 special attack is insanely high and 110 speed is more than decent, which means as long as we can get Gengar in on a U-turn or like basically some momentum move to get it in safely, Shadow Ball is gonna do devastating amounts of damage with the specs, especially if we get some prior chip off with Stealth Rock or just through the course of a game. Now we have Trick, Shadow Ball, Sludge Wave, and Dazzling Gleam. These three are pretty standard for any Gengar set. Now I'm running Dazzling Gleam instead of Focus Blast because I'm not about that missing life, right? Because Focus Blast, 120 power, but a crazy low 70 accuracy. And I don't really need to worry about Heatran so much, especially when I have a Garchomp here, and we will be able to probably destroy or at least 2 KO Como, which can switch in on this thing's Shadow Ball with Dazzling Gleam instead, right? So that's why I'm running Dazzling Gleam here. I haven't really clicked it on anything, but of course there's also like things like Garchomp that you can click it on, a lot of dragons that you can click it on in this tier. If you really think about it, like Hydreigon, Kyurem, like all these Pokemon, like Fairy is just good coverage to have all around, right? So we have that, and moving on, we have Dragapult. Now, why did I pick Dragapult? First things first, Gengar is amazing against the fairies of the tier. Against Clefable, as long as it's not knockoff, you can typically bring it in. Against Lele, you can sack something and then you can bring it into counter. It's a counter, not a switch in for Lele. Same thing for Coco, and then Feeny you can pretty safely bring it on, right? So, and these three are pretty devastating Pokemon in the tier. Clef is just nice utility all around, so it really does well against fairies, and we just need a fairy weak Pokemon, so I have Dragapult here. Now the good thing about Dragapult is that it also forms a pretty insane Ghost Spam core with Gengar, and for those of you who don't know, Ghost Spam is a core that is built on any 2 Ghost Pokemon or a number of Ghost Pokemon, typically just 2, where you just spam Ghost moves because Ghost is one of the least resisted types in the entire tier. So we have Scarf Dragapult, Scarf for Zero Aura, which otherwise destroys this team. With Shadow Ball, Draco Meteor, Flamethrower, and U-turn. U-turn is obviously to help us gain momentum. Flamethrower is to deal with unsuspecting Kartanas that are Scarf, or even a Rillaboom. Draco Meteor and Shadow Ball are just stabs that just go in there, right? And of course I'm running Modest over Timid because I just want to maximize damage output. Like this, if I run Timid, this is disgusting. I'm sorry, this thing needs to be at least 300. Like, I much prefer this. We're also pretty fast, so unless I come across an opposing Scarf Dragapult that's Timid, which I don't even need to be worried about, because I have a Mandibus for it, right? So I'm not too worried about running Modest on this thing. Now, I thought throwing on another dragon would be really good in this situation because I thought, hey, I already have one dragon and a Ghost Spam core here, so why not kind of just merge cores together? And I wanted to do a Drag Mag team. So And Dragmax, you kind of just want a, more sturdier Pokemon. So for that, I picked Garchomp with Lefties and Rough Skin. Obviously Rough Skin because Sandwheel, we're not running a Sand team. Then we have Stealth Rock, Earthquake, Toxic, and Roar. Roar is to deal with setup sweepers, or any Pokemon that wants to use Trick Room. Toxic, obviously, to deal with Landorus and anything we can't touch with Earthquake. And we're running 60 speed to outspeed Heatran, and the rest is just put into defense to deal with Zeraora better because it is our sole Zeraora check, if I'm being honest. I'll also switch in for Zeraora, so there's that. But Garchomp just provides amazing utility in terms of offense or defense, and I just thought a defensive Garchomp would just be great. And of course, it also deals with Heatran for us, which Gengar shouldn't be doing much. In fact, so if we have Specs Gengar against your typically just basic Spadef Heatran, we're not even 2 KOing it. So, and yeah, that's why people run Focus Blast instead, because look at that, like that's gonna do a lot of damage, right? And yeah, I'm also holding a Specs. Yeah, so Focus Blast will be a 2 KO, but I'm not about, I'm not about that life where I missed this and then I died at this or that, or I missed 2 Focus Blasts and then he just picks me off with 2 Earth Powers or something, right? Worse is when you miss 3 in a row and he even gets a chance to set up rocks. Really? Okay. But yeah, that's why we have a Garchomp here. And moving on, we have Magnezone because, like I said, Drag Mag literally implies having a Magnezone. Or some steel type. I mean, typically it's just Magnezone, and we have a dragon type. So Magnezone's role is basically to deal with all the flying birds like Corviknight and Skarmory, because we can't spam dragon moves otherwise, or they just suffer in general, really. Discharge, Flash Cannon, Body Press, and Iron Defenses and MV set, and this whole set is just MVs, really. Like, I just stole it from him, and it performs really, really well. I don't know what 200 speed is for, but if I had the option, I'll probably just lower this a little bit and then add more defense, maybe even more special attack, but I think probably adding more defense is good. Maybe even more speed def, but it's up to you. So we kind of covered this for Pokemon, probably not very offensive, but I think it's pretty decent. The only big issue or glaring issue that we seem to be having is that this team just gets smoked by like Weavile, right? Especially if it's a setup Weavile. For which we have Feeny here with a pretty unique set, if I'm being honest. This whole setup is for Calm Mind Feeny, which runs Calm Mind, Taunt, Scald, and Draining Kiss, but I realized I was never clicking Calm Mind or Taunt, so I just added Defog and Knockoff instead. Defog is just to cover defog duties with Mandibus, and the Knockoff is to just get rid of any items, and then Scald and Draining Kiss is to keep us healthy, and then Scald is just to chip Landorus and Heatran down. And also, with this set, we're able to deal with Weavile a little bit better, which is why we have a Feeny here, and not being able to get any kind of status on, especially on Gengar, is going to be huge, because that means we can just be able to come in on Blissey and whatnot, right? To kind of cover up all these mons together, we have a glaring Kartana weakness, and at the same time, Specs Dragapult just comes in and clicks Shadow Ball and everything, for which we have Mandibus. Now 152 EVs in Spadef means we live 2 Draco Meteors from Specs Dragapult. And this defense means any move that Banded Kartana can lock itself into will be nothing more than a 3 KO, so especially if we have boots on. So this Mandibus just really covers up that defensive coverage that we need to make this core work together. And of course, it also has, this is your standard Mandibus set. Instead of Knockoff, we're running Foul Play and U-Turn. Will be able to give us enough momentum to bring in any of our 2 superb breakers. Well, I guess Dragapult is more of a sweeper and Gengar's our breaker, but still. So that kind of just covers up the whole team together. This is, as you can see, a little bit more of a balanced build, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4 Pokemon with almost sole defensive utility. I mean, we do have offensive pressure between like these two at least, but they're still more defensively oriented, and these two are the only real attackers of the whole team. So it's definitely a team that Gengar needs to survive in, because I think Gengar doesn't really do well on bulky offense or anything that you kind of need the Pokemon to take a hit and then hit back, right? Gengar prefers a slower team that, you know, you're able to keep all your Pokemon healthy and then you can safely bring it in, which is exactly what a balanced build tries to achieve. But with that, that's the whole team, and I'll be right back with the game. Okay, so I got this game. This person was, let's see, 1667. I think it was, yeah, I mean, not high ladder, but it's still a decent game. On first sight, obviously Weavile is a really big threat for my team, like I always said. He should have played his Weavile and Regieleki pretty well, and I should have been aware of that, but as you'll see what happens in the game, we're able to sweep through because this team is just that sturdy. What else? So he has all the threats that I mentioned would, you know, basically destroy us, right? Like Weavile and Urshifu is like the combination of these two are just completely break this team down if I don't know what I'm doing. And it's really easy to overwhelm my counters, which is Mandibuzz and Feeny with Regieleki, because they just beat both of them. And these three other Pokemon can just come in for support, I guess, but he has a little bit of a more bulky offense team, whereas mine's, you know, more of a balanced build, because we have 1, 2, 3 Pokemon that are directly EV'd and set up for playing a little bit more of a defensive style on what they're supposed to switch into. But anyway, so leading on, I go with Dragapult, because Dragapult is just the lead for this team because it's Scarf, so you can kind of just scout for anything that you want. There are no Pokemon that are faster than Dragapult with a Scarf except for Scarf Zeraora or opposing Scarf Dragapult, but I'm running Modest Nature on this and they have to be timid. So it goes into Lele, a U-turn out. This is all the chip that I need to click Shadow Ball next turn. So he clicks Moonblast, obviously, because why wouldn't he? It goes into Lucky, which I don't know how to feel about. Then again, I don't really know if he has any of the switch-ins to this, right? And then he goes for a Volt Switch. I bring in Garchomp to set up rocks because Regieleki does nothing to me. He goes into Corviknight, which I'm not worried about because, like I said, every time he goes into a Steel Bird, I'll just go into Magnezone to try to trap it. He goes into Urshifu. First time we see this thing, but not a problem because I have a Feeny at full health. But I go into Dragapult because why did I go into Dragapult instead of going into these two? Right, I didn't want to lose momentum, and I thought I'll be able to live. I can live anything that this thing can throw at me. That's why I went into Dragapult. Thought I could probably just pick it off with Draco or something. So U-turns out, goes into Weavile. He doesn't want to give me anything. Now, okay, so this is a huge mistake on his part. I don't know why he just stayed in. The crit didn't matter, as you'll see. But I don't think he should have stayed in, like, ever. Maybe he should have gone into Clef. Like, yeah, I don't understand why he decided to just give me so much damage on this thing, because even without a crit I'm easily doing at least, I don't know, like 50, right? But anyway, he just gives me damage on it. I go into Feeny. He has these up, and then turns out he has Poison Jab, which is a little crazy from him, not gonna lie. But I just Draining Kiss him, and then that's the end of Weavile. So that's a huge threat out of the way. Goes into Regieleki. I have no reason to not go to Garchomp, so I do that. Then he Rapid Spins, which I'm not worried about because he's just going to be taking chip every time he does that. Goes into Clef, I Throb Rocks. So technically I could have gone into Gengar there if I really wanted to mess him up. I think I should have gone into Gengar there, but I just went into Magnezone. I mean, it's fine, like it's not a bad switch in, but I definitely should have gone into Gengar there. So that's where I fucked up. And then he wanted to stay in against this for some reason, and then turns out my Flash Cannon doesn't even do 50% damage to him, so he can't sit there and then just click Soft Boil, which he does. However, he, instead of clicking that continuously for some reason he clicks Moonblast here, which had me pretty confused, not gonna lie. And now Flash Cannon is able to pick him off, so it just looks easier and easier for Gengar at this point. So going into Urshifu, at this point, I don't need Feeny for anything really. The only thing I ever needed Feeny for is Weavile, and that's gone. And then Urshifu can be dealt with by Mandibuzz alone, so it wasn't the biggest deal. Now comes in the bad boy Gengar, and then Shadow Ball picks one off. Technically his team got 6-0'd by this thing, but I couldn't get the kill on Clef with the Gengar, unfortunately. Now, okay, so so the reason why, so he goes into this, right? Sorry, let me just show you that again. So I know his Lele is Scarf, right? Because he stayed in against the Dragapult. And I know that he doesn't want to click, I mean, he has to click Moonblast because it's obviously the better play than Psychic in this position. But sorry, Psychic is the better play because you always need to be able to deal with something in front of you. And I knew he would click Psychic, so I just went into this, and then, I mean, if he clicked Moonblast, it's a 2 KO, but it's fine. So he brings out his Corviknight, which is a huge mistake, because ta-da, now you're trapped. So I really like how balanced teams kind of just systematically dismantle teams like this, guys. Because look at this, like I took half damage on Magnezone, a little bit on Dragapult, one dead Pokemon, and I've basically destroyed his whole team at this point. Goes into Urshifu. I have no reason to clean Magnezone, just why I did this, because Gengar just picks everyone up, right? And then, yep, so it's Gengar. And Shadow Ball picks you off. And then Lele is Scarf. He's not going to click Psychic because, I mean, I have a Mandibuzz. So he goes into Moonblast. I knew he was going to click Moonblast, where I stayed in. And we claim the victory. I really like this particular game. I think it really showcases this team's strength when your opponent just doesn't have the tools for it. But at the same time, when your opponent does have tools for it, like your team, which would be this particular 3 core, sometimes they just can't play well enough because they're forced to switch into an offensive option like Weavile, when in my opinion, I think Weavile belongs more on balanced builds. But despite having the Pokemon, his team, how would I put it? His team composition let him down, I think. He could have played it better, but that's kind of just how this game goes, and we're able to pick up this very clean victory. But that's that for this team. I really hope you guys will use this team because I love building it, and I'm always down to take more comments on what you thought was lacking in this team and how I can improve it. So let me know anything that you would like to see for the next video about this team, anything at all in the comments down below. And if you like the video, of course, subscribe and please leave a like. I don't know when my next Gengar video will be, but I will try. I know I keep saying this, but I will try to upload more consistently. I just recently moved from cold Wisconsin to Massachusetts, and I just got settled in pretty recently. So I'll be able to upload more consistently, and I will do just that. But that's all for this video. Hope you guys liked it, and peace.